78 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are sitting at home playing some Arena because someone that you know has COVID, or you're getting super excited to go out to your LGS, we are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And yeah, we are recording long distance today. Long distance. All things considered, not really that long, because we've had COVID exposure. I am under the weather, as you may hear, so apologies for the quality of my voice this episode. But we have a lot to talk about today. I mean, this show is chock full of just goodness, ? Badness, ? Lots of different stuff.
It's full of Ness.
Yes, there's so much Ness in this show. We've got
so much Loch Ness.
If only. That's a new podcast. We need to start searching for the Loch Ness Monster.
We'd have to go look for it. I don't think you can look for it from Minnesota.
Probably not.
Like, it's just kind of like, we know it not here. But I guess we have a lot of lakes.
Don't they have a camera out there that's like, looking at the lake being like, spot Nessie? I mean, if they don't, they should.
Yeah, you mean at Loch Ness?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, probably.
Just saying Loch Ness, that idea is free.
What if there is a Loch Ness monster that they've never found?
Yeah.
I think that it is equally likely that the Loch Ness monster has its own, underground series of tubes between all the lakes in the world.
I thought you were going to say has its own Instagram that we can follow.
The Loch Ness Monster at this point would just be an influencer, okay?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
The Loch Ness Monster would be like, you found me. Also, now follow me on Instagram.
Check out Casper Mattresses. But what we're actually talking about on the show today is the MTG Arena economy, because there was a stream last week that Wizards of the Coast held where they talked about the Arena economy. And let's just say it was less than successful. It didn't go so well for them.
Less than successful is how it should be described.
Yeah, I mean, that's truer words. So we're going to talk about what exactly they said, what the community thought of what they said, the changes that are coming, what they mean for you if you're an Arena player, and kind of just talk about our feelings about the whole way that Wizards is approaching the Arena economy and the player base.
Yeah. Which we've talked a little bit about last week in regards to alchemy.
Yeah.
And so this will also kind of update on that conversation
Totally.
To be like, are they doing any of the things that people talked about to make alchemy more popular?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Answer's going to be no.
Yeah, we have lots of thoughts. And I know you all do too. So feel free to share them at GLHF Magic if you want to send us a tweet. But I know a lot of people were tweeting about it last week too. So we wanted to get in on the convo. We're also going to talk about new Capenna.
Yeah, because there have been some really cool previews. We'll just talk a little bit more about what's going on.
You know, we said we were going to dress up all fancy for this episode, remember?
Oh, man. That was before.
That was before the economy stream.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna blame it on COVID exposures, but you know what?
I mean, both, truly. But before we start our show, a huge thank you to everybody who backs us over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone who is a patron, and especially thank you to our two new patrons, Wing and Ken,
Yay!
and to Robert, who increased their patronage. Thank you so much to all three of you. You can get your own personal shout out by either becoming a patron or by increasing your patronage before next week's episode.
Yeah, just head over to GLHF, to patreon.com/GLHF Magic. You can become a patron for literally any dollar amount, even $1. We would love to have you as part of the family, get into our Discord, and lots of our fun patron-only events that we run here at GLHF Studios.
Yeah, we'll have to look at April. We need to get some stuff on the calendar.
Yeah, let's do it. I've loved everyone that we've done. I love hanging out with our patrons. They're simply the best, as the song goes.
Great song, great patrons.
Yeah.
You know who is also great is Card Kingdom.
Yes.
Thank you so much to Card Kingdom. .com/GLHF, a great place to go if you need anything in your magical life. Do you need singles? Do you need boosties? Do you need boxes? Do you need deck boxes? What do you need? Card Kingdom has got it. CardKingdom.com/GLHF, the place to go for anything in your magical life. Do you need singles? Do you need boosties? Do you need boxes? Do you need deck boxes? Go to Card Kingdom. They got it.
They've got really cool challenger decks coming out for 2022. If you want to get started in standard or just play your friends in standard with decks that are a similar power level, you can buy those at Card Kingdom, which I think is really cool.
Yes.
You can buy the 2 new Kamigawa themed Commander precons, which we have, by the way.
Yes. So we'll be bringing you a video of how those play. Thanks to Card Kingdom, because they're just the nicest.
They're the best. Go check them out. cardkingdom.com/GLHF.
Maria, it is time for the Scryfall Randomizer.
Yes. Megan, I'm going to text you your art, okay? So you'll be able to see it. We're picking art.
Okay.
We've got Scryfall. Give us a random card art. And the one that it's picked for Megan is, I kind of love it.
Wow. This is spooky.
What do you think that is?
Okay, what I'm looking at in this art is it is like a big skeleton monster. It's a skeleton monster made of smaller skeletons. Is my best guess for this.
Yeah.
And it has 2 big legs, but then it has 6 spooky arms. And it looks like it's like feasting on trash or corpses.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
Some combination of both of those things.
Absolutely.
It's wow. Very grim.
What do you think this card does?
Okay.
I kind of don't want to tell you the name because I think you might know if I tell you the name.
Okay. Black card. Definitely getting a black card vibe on here.
Totally.
I'm gonna guess that this is a sorcery. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go 4 and a black. It's a classic 4 and a black sorcery. If you can sacrifice a creature to get 2 creatures back from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Hey, that's a great guess. And I'm going to tell you one thing. You're right about it being a sorcery.
Okay.
But everything else is wrong.
Whoa, everything else.
I'm going to link you to the card. It's a white card.
What?
This is Phyrexian Rebirth.
Do you know what, Maria? I knew it was a Phyrexian.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, I could feel it.
It feels very, very Phyrexian. 4 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Then create an XX colorless Phyrexian warrior artifact creature token where X is the number of creatures you destroyed this way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I will say, I had like a vibe, right? Of you're killing some things and making a new thing.
Yeah, you totally did. Like it's eating the trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a monster made of eating other
I've got to say, the flavor text on this card, I really enjoy, which is, as long as 1 drop of the oil exists, the joyous work continues.
Well, Phyrexians are creepy, y'all. Real creepy.
Joyous work?
Yep.
Yikes.
You know, they're all about it. They're like, yes, we love this.
We love completing people. Okay. So
yes, we love being part of Phyrexia.
You know, sometimes I wonder, like, would I hate being a Borg? I probably would. But at that point, do I really hate it anymore once I've been, changed?
Yeah, like, do you know?
Yeah.
Like, no is the answer. Probably.
I think somewhere, like, deep in your subconscious, it's your self still exists, but it's hard to pull that back out once you've been Borged. As 7 of 9 will attest.
Here is yours.
Oh, look at these fine folks. Okay. It looks like a Ravnica scene. There's 3 people dressed in their armor, various battle implements. The front guy is holding a sword. He's wearing an armored top that looks like it has 2 protruding boobs on it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it does. It does. I can confirm.
He's got a sword. The people behind him have a spear and a sword. It looks like Ravnica. It looks like fall. So this makes me think, this is the time we went back to Ravnica recently. And this is like some kind of, but I don't know what the card is. I'm going to say it's a white card and you make 3 2/2 soldiers for like 6 mana. I know that's not it, but that's what it makes me feel like.
Wow. Okay, I am going to send you the card. You are very, very close here.
Ooh, okay, great.
The card is Hazda Marshall.
Oh,
It is in
yeah.
fact from Guilds of Ravnica, which is the most recent time that we went back. It is 1 white for a 1/1 creature human soldier. Whenever Hazda Marshall and at least 2 other creatures attack, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah.
So,
that's it.
Yeah, you had the right vibe of like making tokens, of it being the most recent time that we went to Ravnica. Nice work.
All right, so I got pretty close that time.
Yeah.
Man, I love Ravnica.
It's pretty great.
What a great
You
set.
know? We have a lot of nostalgia for it.
For sure.
First place we went, man.
Our first plane.
Let's talk about the Magic Arena economy.
Wow. Could you believe that this would be what we were sitting here talking about, 5 years ago?
I mean, I think back then we would have only been happy that Arena exists.
Yes, for sure. Here we
remember
are.
the time when we thought Arena was never going to come?
100%. We're so spoiled now. We're like, oh, I don't like the economy.
It's like, shut up and be happy you have it.
Yeah, because there was a long time when we should have had Arena, quite frankly, but we didn't.
But we
honestly.
didn't. And so we were just like, will we never get it?
Yeah. But here we are in the future in 2022. So the basics of what happened was last Thursday on Weekly MTG, Blake Rasmussen is the host of that show, interviewed Chris Kuritz, who is the executive producer of Magic Arena, and talked about the Arena economy. They said they wanted to have a stream about it because a lot of people had been asking tons of different kinds of questions, and they didn't want to sit silently while people were like, they wanted to let people know they were talking about it and that they were thinking about it and implementing some changes.
Yeah.
So that's why they did it. Sometimes you say, this meeting could have been an email. And part of me thinks that this stream should have been an article because it did not go well for them, Megan.
Yes. It seems like particularly the questions part, the Q&A section
was bad.
Perhaps a little rough, which I just want to say it made me think as we were talking about it. And it's like, how did they not think that these questions would come up? Which leads me to argue, I believe that there should be an improviser on every team of every business.
Absolutely. 100%.
Just to be like, hey, let me sit here and tell you, like, brainstorm for you all of the questions that people are going to ask, because it's going to happen.
They should prep them like a presidential debate.
Yes, exactly. Right? Like, you should know. It's like when, like Taco John's or whoever will have people in to eat a new Taco John's item and then tell them all their thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
focus group.
Have a focus group. Do that.
I think that wouldn't be a half bad idea. Like, I just assume that they do have that, but maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't. And maybe it's more about reactions to stuff as opposed to them being like, tell us all the questions you're going to have.
Yeah, exactly.
They should tell you all the questions they're going to have.
Yeah, so like Megan said, it was broken apart into one part where Blake was just talking to Chris about stuff and one part that was a question and answer. Overall, this is my overall feelings of the stream. It started out, Blake was sitting upright in his chair, having a good time, like talking to Chris. And as the stream went on, slowly you could see the soul inside him leaving his body, just dying in front of our very eyes, like then slumped in the chair by the end, responding like, yep. Uh-huh. I mean, how could that not hit you hard? Like the chat was going at 20 million miles an hour with people so angry about what was occurring, not only because of the things that the changes they had decided to implement, but also I would argue the overall vibe. The vibe of this stream was infected. That's the word I'm going to use. It was, in my opinion, I know how hard it is to be one of these Wizards of the Coast employees that has to face a nonstop barrage of people yelling at them on social media constantly over absolutely everything, including majority of things they have no control over whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And I understand how that can probably over time really change how you feel about the people that you're talking to and presenting to in a stream like Weekly MTG. But I think the outcome of this was just a general attitude from the two hosts that, in my opinion, was a little bit snobby. That's the word I'm going to use.
Okay.
It felt like they were talking down to the audience, and it felt like they were annoyed with them, and it felt like they were like, kind of treating them like they weren't so smart or whatever.
That's a pretty bad vibe to have.
And I'm just like, I just want them to think about that when they go into these streams, right? Like,
yeah,
these are your customers. And yes, a lot of them yell at you constantly, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them just want to hear this. A lot of people are watching this the day after or whatever. And they just, they want a vibe of the people caring about them, caring about the people who make the product that they use, that they love,
Someday Maria and I will do an episode of this podcast where we're talking down to you the whole time.
You guys, I don't know if you are, we've got some deck recommendations, but you might not be good enough to play it. I don't know. So look, I know this is a choice note, as we say in improv, but I think
So these are some decks, but they might not be the deck for you.
But come at your viewers from a place of respect and love, please. I know it might be so hard, and is it fair to you? Probably not. In the grand scheme of things. But I feel like that's just what you got to do at the end of the day. Anyway, that's my soapbox moment for this stream overall. Let's talk about the big takeaways of the things that they announced that they're going to do. Number one was the overall feeling that for constructed play, the focus of Wizards of the Coast is on deck iteration instead of collecting every card in a set. That means they expect players to find a deck they like in standard, whatever format they're playing, kind of stick with that, change out cards every so often, but not try and collect everything.
Yeah.
I feel like, tell me what you think, Megan, but I feel like that's not really the way people play Arena.
No. I mean, I feel like... yeah, right. There are people, which I kind of probably count myself in, to be fair, like the deck iteration area, just because I am, for the most part, a person who will be like, I generally like the same style of decks, and the kinds of cards that they use are not going to change that much. So, I have my, 4 copies of the Wrath in the set, and I'm going to use that across a couple of decks.
Yeah.
That being said, I know that I also know that I'm not the only type of player. And that there are people who are the opposite and do want to be able to build whatever they want at any time.
Yeah.
And like, one, I respect that. And two, you also can't just act like those people don't exist.
I feel like Arena the churn is so high, right? If you're trying to play any deck if you're trying to, compete in the ladder system, which I know not everybody is. Yeah. But I mean, it's so much higher than it used to be just because it exists, that the fact is you do need to, change decks up if you're going to compete on the ladder system. More than I think you would be changing them up IRL, which the parallel between Magic Arena and real life card acquisition and all that, I think is too close. At least as far as Wizards is concerned. Like, we're thinking about Magic Online, which is a predecessor to Arena, where you can trade cards. You can't do that on Magic Arena, obviously. There's no trading system. So you just have to kind of like acquire, and you'll never get your money back, quote unquote, if you want to get rid of any of that stuff. Yeah. Which is a little bit of a tangent, but anyway, that's their overall thought. Like, constructed, decoration, not collection, which means, that makes sense why it's hard to get a collection on Arena, because it was designed that way, right? Yeah. For limited players like Megan and I, we're going to just say this up front. This is not a problem. If you play limited and you're halfway decent, you will not have a problem ever basically having wild cards. You'll just have a surplus at all times. I don't ever worry about crafting any deck ever. So if you're somebody who's even marginally interested in limited, I would say the real way to exploit Arena and to use it to the best of its ability is to play draft.
Yes, exactly. Right. People were talking about like, oh, how many boosters or how many rares do you get for like gems? And I'm like, well, okay, if I'm counting that I put 1,500 gems into a draft and then I get at least usually at least 3 rares. Yeah. Or like some number of rares from that, and then some number of additional packs from that, and some number of additional gems from that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm never thinking about my return on those gems. Yeah. It's always solid.
It's always really good. So I know people who are constructed players out there and don't like limited, don't want to hear just play limited because they don't want to, that's not how they play the game. But I'm just letting you know that if you're on the fence, like, the ideal way to play Arena in its current form is to be a limited player and then use those wins to make your constructed decks.
Also, limited is great.
Yes,
and you should just be playing it anyways.
It's the best way to play Magic. There, I said it.
Yeah, we've always been limited advocates, even before Arena, because it's just fun.
It's just fun.
Great.
It's great.
It's different. Listen, you don't have to play the same matchups again. Okay? You don't have to worry about playing, is it Epiphany or Dragons or whatever, because it's a draft. Everybody different.
Everybody different. Truly, Magic is Garfield intended. I know that's what everybody says, but I think that draft is kind of super pure. It's so
delightful. It's so fun. Okay, this is just becoming an episode about how you should draft.
Oh boy. The other thing that players are upset about with the Arena economy is the fact that there's no dusting, which is a mechanic that's used in Hearthstone, that's used in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can trade rares you don't use or don't want in decks and dust them and make other cards out of them. And they were very specific on the stream that they said they do not like the dusting mechanic. They think it is bad to destroy cards in your collection to make other cards. They don't like the feel bad of having to do that. And you know what? I don't think they're wrong. I don't think that dusting is the ideal format that some people are holding it up to, like, oh, this is what we need in the game. People just say that because that's what they get in other economies that they like better. So I'm not sitting here saying I have a solution, but I don't think that dusting necessarily is what, should be the thing sitting on the top of the pedestal that everybody's like, this is what we need in the game for sure. Because I think Wizards has a point that it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, so that's off the table for them. What else is off the table to improve the economy potentially is trading up. So people say, hey, well, I've got 10,000 uncommons. Can I have some X percentage of these turn into a rare wild card? And they say they have not discussed that. And that answer
not
kind of baffles me. I mean, how could you have not ever talked about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. I can't, especially considering that this is not the first time that people in the community have brought it up.
Yeah.
How is it not on your radar to discuss and have an answer for? Unless saying that they haven't talked about it was their way of saying we have talked about it and we know that the answer would make you mad.
Yeah, I think that might very well be the
Which
truth of it.
Which might be what was actually the subtext of we haven't talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's just kind of disappointing. And that's what I meant kind of like with the talking down and stuff, like being like, oh, we never talked about it. And the chat being like, well, how on earth could you not talk about this? People have been talking about this forever. And you're all not having this conversation. Even if you don't like it, you should have at least talked about it. Their point was that they want so many commons and uncommon wildcards because they never want you to have to build a deck and not have a common or uncommon wildcard available. To that, I say that will never happen. I have 50,000.
It has never been anyone's problem in the history of problems. Not commons or uncommons. I don't even know how many uncommon wildcards I have, but it's essentially a billion, right?
It's essentially infinite.
It is no different from having 1 billion uncommon wildcards in my account.
You've accomplished your goal here. Like, people are not worried about that. But also, now we're skewed so heavily to dumping in the bottom.
Yes, exactly. And right, you're saying that you don't want people to run into this hypothetical problem when people are presenting you with a real problem that they already have.
It's a great way to put it. Yeah. And of course, the other problem that was discussed was the fact that, alchemy is extremely expensive to play on Arena. It's hard to get the packs. There's no way to draft them. And you don't get refunds if your card gets rebalanced down. And people are like, that just feels really, really bad, especially when those changes affect Historic, a format a lot of people came to love. So the response to that I thought was so poor, which was, well, Luminarch Aspirin is a card that got rebalanced down, and it still showed up in decks that were played in the Neon Dynasty Championship this past weekend. And I'm like, what is this? What is this confirmation bias argument here? Okay, you've got one example and you're like, look, it still got played. Well, sure, but that's not always going to happen every time. It happens sometimes. But I don't know. That felt pretty unfair.
Yeah, that's kind of challenging because on the one hand, I do kind of see what they're saying. because you look at like Town Razor Tyrant,
Yep.
which has been rebalanced twice now.
Yep.
And is still very playable.
Yeah.
And like Luminarch Aspirant. That being said, there will be cards for which that is not true.
Yeah.
Right? There probably already are cards for which that is not true.
And my question with that too is like, what is the problem? This is a pain point for your player base that has been in the works now for months, ever since this was, announced and the first rebalances happened. Yeah. And I really don't see why the cost is so huge to Arena to say, okay, well, if we balance it down, we'll give you a rare wild card. Like, I mean, or whatever rarity it is. I just truly don't understand why they can't do that, because
especially since they're crafted more often.
Yes.
Right. Like they are more often to be a card that you
have to craft.
Crafted.
There's Molly making her appearance as always
Molly
on our
time.
Remote episodes. Hi, Molly. She has opinions, I'll tell you that, about the economy. Yeah, like you have to do it more often because there's less ways to get cards, and I know, right? And I don't know what this is not going to bankrupt you by like giving out a wild card for. I mean, right? Am I crazy? Like
no.
Just the amount of goodwill it would generate in your player base by saying, "Hey, you're right. We're giving this to you." I think would be worth a lot of money, honestly. From how many people are really upset with the way Arena works this way. People asked, hey, what if you did some drafting with Alchemy as a way to get some more cards in there? And they kind of sort of poo-pooed the idea, like they weren't really interested. And they're like, maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff.
Which is a great idea.
Yes, we talked about it last week, making a cube. And I think it sounds really fun, putting some Alchemy cards in there. I think it would be
super smart.
So,
right, the draft itself can be phantom if you want that, but it can award Alchemy packs.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. And they said, maybe we'll do some more events where we'll award Alchemy cards as rewards and stuff. And I want to say they did that in a recent event, but like a lot of the cards that were awarded didn't end up being Alchemy cards. They were just other stuff. And people were like, oh, okay, great. Anyway, so the fact that they were just like, I don't know, maybe we'll think about it. Like, yeah, but there's all these problems. Yes, of course there's problems. You don't need to respond that way. Be like, hey, that is a great thought. And we are working on it behind the scenes and whatever. Just that small shift in attitude about how I'm responding to that question, I think is kind of important.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Absolutely. It feels also kind of like they're like, we like... I'm going to get that microphone closer because I'm sitting farther away from it right now because of the cat. It feels like they're not they don't feel like they're approaching it from the angle of problem solving. Right? It kind of feels like they're not really acknowledging that there's a problem. They're just like, there need to be tweaks. And it's like, no, you're not working with something that has no problems that you just want to tweak a little to be better. You're working with something that right now your clientele is saying has a problem.
Right.
And so you need to be approaching it as problem solving as opposed to just adjusting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think is kind of what sticks out to me.
So on this stream, they were like, hey, don't worry, everybody. We've got a solution for you. This is the number one problem people had with this stream. We've come to the moment.
I'm doing that like tense laughter in anticipation.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, you want some more wild cards. You want the ability to get them more easily. Don't worry, we got you, fam. We're going to offer a wild card bundle, 12 rares, 4 mythics, for the price of, drumroll please, $49.99.
Oh my God.
I cannot tell you. I've seen a lot of vitriol from Magic community over the years. We've been doing this 10 years now. Yeah. Never have I seen everyone so committed to being like, what is wrong with you? That price is absurd. It was wonderful to see everybody come together for a common cause.
Yeah, yeah, to see everyone united in their disdain.
That price point, I truly do not understand how they could have arrived at it.
Baffling to me.
Utterly baffling. And immediately when they posted it, people were like, wait a second, that seems really wrong. Because, Frank Karsten jumped on it, ran the numbers, and he said, if you spend $50 on MTG Arena on 46 packs, then, based on a rough approximation, including the wildcard wheel, wildcards and packs, and vault progress, you'll usually gain about 3 mythic wildcards and 9 rare wildcards, besides the cards you open.
Besides the besides how many packs you opened all those packs.
Yes.
You have so many rares and mythics from those packs.
So essentially, you're trading 3 rares and 1 mythic wild card for 46 random rare and mythics.
Which seems like a pretty good deal.
I
like collecting specific cards, but if you'd asked me to give 3 of any card I wanted for 46 random cards, I'd be like, yes, great deal. Please give it to me.
And the problem is the community right now sees alchemy especially as predatory. They think that Wizards is trying to like squeeze every last dime out of people. And this is just like more proof for them that they're like, this is ridiculous. You think you're going to get this money out of us. And even if that's not what's happening, because I don't believe it is, that's the perception. And you need to respond to the perception because for those people, it is reality, right? And this is what you're offering them? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Molly's purring.
She is always purring though. I also feel like going back to kind of like the problem solving mindset part of it too. Like you were saying, people see it as predatory. And I also think that they're like, this to me is like, you don't understand that what you need to do is rehabilitate alchemy because it's not in a good place right now.
No.
Which really sucks because, do you know what? As a format, there is stuff that I like in it.
It's great as a format right now.
I've been loving playing the Is It Mill deck. I think that there's like the Orzhov Ventures deck is so cool. There's a lot that could be great about the format, but your biggest problem is with player perception of it because the format feels predatory. In addition to the arena like on top of the already arena economy things that people have quibbles with.
Yes.
And it's like, if you want to save this format, there is one thing that you can do, and that is rehabilitate its image to make it feel not like a predatory format to people. And if you're sitting there telling me that, like, no, we're not going to give you any wild cards back when we rebalance a card that you spent wild cards on.
Yeah, doesn't feel good.
You're not rehabilitating the image of a format that you're trying to save. You're just digging its grave deeper.
There's a bunch of tweets after this where people are like, what could you spend $50 on? You know, like, and of course it's all of these other games and everything. But, you know, the way you also have to view Arena within an ecosystem of other games that are similar, like Runeterra, like Hearthstone. I know that it's not, but this is what people are going to compare it to. Mm-hmm. I am here for it being more expensive than those other games because it's a better game. And I think we can all agree on that from every angle. However, I don't want it to be almost impossible to try to play it like what, you know, with a reasonable dollar amount that you're spending to get the cards that you need if you're a constructed only player. So they also announced they're going to give you a mythic guaranteed pack for 1,300 gems on Arena. Okay, whatever.
How much is a regular pack?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Less than that, I never buy a pack, so I don't know.
Me neither. Unless it's a daily deal.
The filthy drafters over here.
Yeah.
So those are the points that people were most like, this is so bad. The overall tone was so negative. The way that people were reacting, just sighing and saying, we can't do that because of the technology. Like, man, it just felt bad. It just felt infected, as I said. However, they did announce some things that I think normally people would be very happy about, which is why I'm like, maybe this should have been an article. And it is. You can read it over on Daily MTG. But so they did address the fact that there's no Pioneer on Arena. And they said they confirmed that a non-rotating paper format is coming soon, quote, relatively soon to Arena. And they didn't say what they're going to name it or what it's going to be. But they commented it's going to be a bridging format to Pioneer as they work towards adding all the cards.
Okay. Great.
Great. People love that. They say they're going to rework their constructed events that they hold to make them include better rewards to make the events more worthwhile. Okay. And maybe a potential ranked component. Thumbs up there.
Great. Love it.
Players will soon be able to select a favorite basic land, which everybody's been crying for 1,000 years.
Thank God.
Thank God. This one was very funny because somebody asked it and Chris confirmed it and Blake was like, oh, we didn't announce that yet. So whoopsie doodles, but
delightful. Do you know what? He needed to give everybody in that chat a win.
Yeah, seriously. And also, apparently the technology I'm going to use that word even though what the hell, okay, does that mean? Behind the favorite land system is expected to make it easier for the team to address the issue of card reprints, leading to players having more than 4 copies of the same card with the same art, right? Because you have 10 duresses or whatever. Or,
a billion. I have 1 million duresses.
Or if it's a mythic or a rare rather reprint, then that is even more annoying because you don't need it. You already got it. So hopefully that will be able to address. They say the rate at which players acquire wildcards from booster packs is, quote, open to change, but they have no plans to make changes to the system as of now. The $50 pack is going to be up there for a period of time. I think it was 6 weeks or something. And then they're going to take it down and they're going to reassess after that period of time when nobody buys it, if they should change the price.
when no person purchases it, they will take it down and reassess.
Yep. So they'll think about it. And I can't see how they don't have a download after this stream. It went so poorly that there needs to be some soul searching there. Like maybe there's a lot of pressure from up high being like, hey, you need to make Arena more profitable. Because I think Arena is their least profitable thing, by the way, because I think like tabletop and whatever makes them way more money. So maybe there is this pressure. So that being said, it's the same thing where people are so profit focused. Like, oh, you're doing this thing. Does that immediately equal me getting money? A to B? Well, if not, then I'm going to disregard it as unimportant. And I think that sometimes a lot of businesses fall into that trap. Like, well, show me the money that I'm getting from this. But
and if not, then
it's not worth doing. Like giving somebody a wild card for a rebalance. Am I making money off that? No, then it's off the table. Well, you've also erased goodwill. You've erased players like playing your format and spending more money to get cards and like infecting their friends and the community with negative thoughts about how the Arena Alchemy format works and et cetera, et cetera. You can't always monetize everything, okay?
What, Maria? You can't monetize everything?
You can't just be like, this thing only has value if I can make money off of it. Okay, bosses, whoever you are over there, I don't know, Hasbro overlords, who's ever telling them to do this, like, there is value in things that do not directly make you cash, like in a straight pipeline. The same pipeline the Loch Ness Monster uses to travel between lakes.
The Loch Ness Monster cash pipeline.
Yeah.
Right? Like, investing in goodwill is going to make you money also. And it's like you said, it's not A to B money, but it's like A to D money.
And A to D money, guess what? That's still money.
That's still money.
Still money.
And in some ways is going to be like a more long-term and sustainable kind of money.
Exactly.
Right? Like fostering goodwill will make you money for longer than like one ticket item. I can't get over the $50.
I mean, it's insulting. It's an insulting dollar amount.
Can't get over it.
You shouldn't be able to get over it. It's like, I don't know who did it, but like, I hope they're having their email inbox looks kind of bad.
Yeah.
Also, we just want to let you know, you can use the code PLAYNEOALCHEMY for 3 free packs on Arena.
Great.
Just FYI, if you want some of those.
Now give me the cube. Give me the alchemy cube.
I want
Maria, it's such a good idea. It makes me so mad.
I mean, it's such a good idea. I can't see how in the future they won't do it.
People love drafting cube. Like, and I'm not saying have it open all the time.
Yeah.
But do you know what? When a new an alchemy set has come out, right? People have this Neon Dynasty alchemy set came out, and think about like, right, how long we've been drafting Neon Dynasty now. Wouldn't you love a week's worth of alchemy draft, like alchemy cube right now?
Absolutely.
It's the perfect timing.
I would go in, I would spend my money on it.
Exactly. It is literally perfect timing for something like that right now, because the fresh draft format has now been around for, 6 weeks or whatever. It's still enjoyable, but I'm also taking breaks to play a lot of other stuff now because I have drafted it so very much.
Yeah.
Give me an alchemy cube to throw my money at.
It's a perfect timing. And it will always work out to be perfect timing, because we released the alchemy set like after the set has been out for a little bit, and people are like, oh, I've drafted it a bunch of times. Okay, boom, give you a little new infusion of a sort of different draft format. Yeah. So you go, everybody. That's the Arena Economy stream. You can always go back and watch it if you want to watch a man die in real time. Go read the article on Daily MTG if you want to
watch this man die in real time.
Yeah, like there's this YouTube video our friend showed us that's called Watch Aunt Joni Die, where it's not really Aunt Joni dying, but she's like, she bikes off of a pier.
Oh my God, she bikes off of a pier.
Something like that.
It's so scary. That one's terrible. It does look like she died.
It's a scary video.
Yes.
Somebody just gets pretty hurt probably, but that's what it makes me think of when I thought of this video. It's like, this video is Watch Aunt Joni Die.
Watch Joni die. Oh my goodness.
Well, everybody, we have not taken time yet on the show to talk about the previews for Streets of New Capenna, which dropped a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So this came in an article that has like lots of the important dates for New Capenna, some, just kind of like information on what to expect from preview season for it. But then it also has some incredible art, some really great art, and a little bit more information and a couple of cards and like alternate art for those cards.
Yeah, so New Capenna is a brand new plane, just in case this is the first you're hearing of it. It's based on kind of like 1920s gangster film kind of situation.
Yeah.
The logo is knuckles. Like, what are those things called? Brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles?
The logo, yeah, the little set logo is brass knuckles with angel wings on them.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. Also gives you the vibe that they're going for here.
Yeah.
And the deal with it is that there are 5 crime families that kind of run the city. And so 5 factions to be a faction set, kind of like Ravnica, for instance. 5 crime families, each with a different 3-color identity. So kind of like Khans of Tarkir.
Yeah. I'm really excited to go back to a plane that has strong 3-color factions. In part just because I love me a draft format
for sure
that encourages more than 2-color drafting.
Absolutely. And we got lands to be able to help us out with that. A lot of people are very excited about these new tri-lands they showed off already. So there's Jetmir's Garden, Rafine's Tower, Spara's Headquarters, Xander's Lounge, and Zatora's Proving Ground. They're all the various families' 3-color alignments and kind of like their hideout.
Yeah. I feel like, the names must be referring to like the head of the crime family.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. So we saw the regular art for these tri-lands, which is itself very gorgeous. Like everything in this is very Art Deco inspired.
Yeah.
I really love it. But then we also saw 2 different alternate arts.
Yeah, 2 different treatments. One treatment is a full art treatment of these, which I think is just gorgeous. And another treatment is called the skyscraper treatment, which gives the cards kind of like an Art Deco border. And then the art inside looks like it was straight out of the 1920s.
It's so it's so gorgeous. I really love it.
Me too. They keep knocking it out of the park with land art, and I hope they never stop.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, we also have seen some new full art lands from this set.
Oof, yes.
Which are just like, again, just incredible. For each of them, there's one that does look more like specifically the interior of a building, or a space. But then each of them also has one that's just like a lot more highly stylized, right? Like there's a mountain that looks like, okay, it looks like we're in a really cool interior, but then there's a mountain that looks like it just kind of looks like a pyramid of like cool glass light.
Yeah, I love this mountain. This is my favorite one of the set for sure. I think it's just beautiful, and I could see it hanging on a wall in anybody's office, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's some sweet Art Deco art, check it out."
Yeah. In one of the islands, we see like an enormous statue of an angel.
Yes.
And 2 of them actually. So that's kind of like somehow
involved.
Involved.
Like how are the angels involved with this crime family situation,
Yeah.
So let's talk about these crime families.
Yeah. All right. So we have Obscura, which is white, blue, and black. Their little symbol is like a hand with kind of like a dagger below it.
Ooh, nice.
And it's also a lot like the hand also has like a key, and the dagger is kind of like the key.
Oh yeah, it is. I never noticed that.
Right?
That looks up your alley, Megan. I've got to say.
Yeah.
We've got counterspell here with the hand. And then, stab yourself in the hand.
Yeah. And then removal, right?
Yeah, removal. There we go. I like that one. Then we have the Maestros. They're blue, black, red. And these are the like the old money vampires. So they're all old rich vampires. And they're like, we are here to rule the city. And their logo looks like 2 crossed daggers and a goblet of blood, of course.
Oh, I love it. It's a very fancy chalice.
Yes, a chalice of blood.
Then there's the Riveteers, which are black, red, green. And their symbol is like a crossed big, like a big hammer and an anvil.
Yep. So they're like, that's going to be your smashy set group for sure. They can break buildings as easily as kneecaps. That's their tagline. So
wow.
There you go.
Is it? It should be.
It is though.
Oh,
I didn't
it is?
make that
Okay.
up. Unfortunately, that is what they say.
Good job, them.
Good job, them.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Cabaretti. They're red, green, and white.
Of course.
Their logo looks like it looks like a lion face wearing a crown with beautiful mane coming down the other side. And their deal is they expect loyalty from their followers or else.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well,
I feel like that's all crime
that's
family.
all of them. That's all of them. So I don't really know what their deal is yet.
And then there's the Brokers, green, white, blue, which kind of looks like those big statues, but it's a bird, like a big bird statue with big wings.
Yes. These are the lawyers, by the way. They're like, oh, they're just some lawyers. They're like evil, demonic lawyers.
Yeah, everybody loves an evil, demonic lawyer. Is this where Davriel is from? Do we know?
Oh my gosh, I bet it is. I think, yeah, it's gotta be.
Right? It kind of seems like it would be.
Davriel is a lawyer and he's wearing a pinstripe suit. I'm going to call it right now. He's from this.
Yes,
thing.
right? And he has like that little mustache sometimes.
Oh yeah, the mustache is a dead giveaway.
This really, it really seems like this would be where Davriel is from.
They did preview one card from the set, which is Broker's Ascendancy. Previews are going to start April 7th, BT dubs. Okay. Broker's Ascendancy, which is green, white, blue, enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control.
Wow.
So now we kind of know what this is. No, that's not the Cabaretti. This is the whose card is this?
Brokers.
The Brokers.
Yeah.
This is a Broker's card. The lawyers are going to be all about putting counters around. I think because this reminds me of cons because they had ascendancies too.
Yeah. Jeskai Ascendancy. Oh, my old friend. What a card.
Beautiful.
Yeah, right. They reward you. It's like, it's only 3 mana for a very powerful effect, but it rewards you for being in those 3 colors.
Yeah.
So there's an alternate art for it, which is,
It's one of the greatest alt arts I've ever seen. This is by Sean Pagels, and people were giving him props all over Twitter because this art is gorgeous.
It's so cool. So this is what they're calling, right, the Golden Age treatment.
Yeah.
So it has it has a cool frame already, but then this art is like stylized. It's like the stylized, very like flat, kind of 2-dimensional looking piece.
Like Cubist.
Yes, it's very Cubist. Oh, and it's like all these, it's like a rhino and an eagle and a person and a human like all around this table where they're making this deal. Oh, it's so good.
I love it so much.
It's such a cool piece. If you haven't seen it, it's in the article. We'll link it in the show notes. It's so good.
We also know that there's going to be commander deck for each of these families.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think will be really fun for commander players, the precons that they're putting out. The packaging for this set is incredible.
Yeah.
Like the collector boosters are so pretty. I don't even want to open them.
Yeah, the packaging is like the collector booster display is so gorgeous. Gosh. Which is like such a dumb thing to say, but it's true.
But it's just true, okay?
But it's true. I love it. I love the color scheme of it. I love that it's somehow like right the difference, like it's both dark and light at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Talk about the drug thing, Megan.
Okay, so in case you all missed this, kerfuffle online.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and call it a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
So there's on New Capenna, there is a substance called Halo, right? And we don't know a ton about Halo, But we know that Halo is the magical substance that rules the criminal underworld in New Capenna, sought after by all for its magic-enhancing qualities. It comes in many forms, such as crystals, liquids, and vapors, and this is where they were talking to WPN stores. You may consider adding your own to your in-store events. And people were like, is this a drug? Is it just like, are you like, hey, make this fake drug for your pre-release?
Hey, make some meth for your customers. They'll
Yes,
have a great
exactly.
time.
Which Wizards was like, no, it's not a drug, right? It's like it enhances magic.
Isn't that what a drug is, Megan?
Well, Maria, do you know what? Like, you certainly, I'm certain that there are plenty of people who would say that.
Look, all I'm saying is when I have my highball in the morning, not the alcohol people, it's a caffeinated drink. When I have my caffeine in the morning, my magic is enhanced for the day. I'll just say that.
Yes, I will say that caffeine is my Halo. But also, right, as we're sitting here joking about it, like that is, maybe Halo is just their caffeine.
Yeah,
but a bunch of people were like, this is a really weird vibe, right?
Yes.
To which I don't know. My reaction was like slight eye roll.
Yeah.
Because as someone said, it does feel very like, it's so funny to me that like people who play Magic, kind of manage to have a moral panic about something on their own kind of moral panic, right? There are moral panics about a million things. There are other groups who have a moral panic about Magic, like you can't play Magic the Gathering. It's
Demons,
wicked.
Yeah.
There's demons, and people are like, you can't have a drug reference, and it's like, Are you just blowing this out of proportion to have something to be mad at? Twitter never does that. No, what am I talking
Twitter
about?
Twitter never does that,
Twitter
Megan.
has never done that ever.
Ever. The wording on the WPN site, like when they're like, yeah, make this for your customers and whatever, just don't put it in a martini glass. It's not alcohol. Yeah. I think definitely could have been worded better because it did make it seem a little bit like, wait.
Illicit and weird.
Illicit and weird. But when they explained Halo, they're like, no, it's like mana. It like, that's, if this is a drug, then mana is a drug, right? This is, it enhances your magical ability. Like mana gives you the ability to conjure whatever you need if you're a magic wielding person, whatever. So
I was going to say like, and if you're just like, oh yeah, but a criminal underworld is like fighting for control of it. Like, I don't know. Tell me how that's different. But tell me how that's different from big oil.
I mean, seriously, yeah, they could have done a substance like oil that was just very expensive and everybody wanted it because they used it for everything.
And like, right? I guess like ExxonMobil isn't a crime organization, but also isn't it?
Yeah, precisely.
But also isn't it? So like, I don't know. Tell me how this is any different from. A crime family is different from a big corporation, honestly.
I know, too, some people are upset because they're like, oh, there is a pandemic in this country right now of people abusing, prescription drugs and other kinds of drugs and all that kind of stuff. And it's really, like, obviously very serious and something that needs to be dealt with. And this is insensitive of Wizards to put this in a set. But for me, it's like the historical concept of where this set is coming from is 1920s. It's prohibition. It makes it like we're looking at this like interesting historical event through the lens of magic. And what would that mean if we ported it over into a magical universe? I personally don't see anything problematic about that. Yeah, personally.
Also, I feel like if you're a person who is in recovery and you're making that argument, okay. If you're just making that argument right, because like your other arguments about it fell apart, go away. Right? If you're just like, oh, we shouldn't have drugs because it's a kid's game, and someone is like, it's not a drug, and then you're like, well, then you shouldn't have something that mimics a real world crisis. It's like, well, that was your second argument because your first one fell apart.
Yeah, I think that.
So like, don't use that. Like, I don't know.
People come out of the woodwork all the time to say Magic is a kid's game to use, to kind of like take it down or whatever. And you're like, yes, I guess if you're 13 plus, you can play this game and you're still a kid. But like, kids are aware of the fact that alcohol exists in the world.
Yes. Yeah. Also,
they're like, yeah, this exists. It kind of, I'm going to, maybe this is a bad faith argument, but it kind of smacks to me like the Florida, like the don't say gay thing. Like, don't say it, the kids can't handle it. Like, don't say Halo, the kids can't handle it. And I'm like, Anyway, that was a huge thing that I think
it was a huge thing. And of course, I don't know. I'm sure that you, listener, are lovely. I get very tired of many of the people on Magic Twitter because so many of them, I feel like increasingly just feel like they're there to vent about it. And I don't understand why they're playing the game if it brings them that much grief that constantly.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's some people where I'm like, as far as I can tell, this only makes you miserable. So why?
I feel like that, Wizards could have done a better job explaining it on the WPN thing. But in the end, they explained no, it's not. It's magical enhancing substance, whatever. And if you want to put that towards drugs, because of the historical context of where this set is based on, then okay. I think that's personally, I think that's fine. But also just keep it a super magical thing too. You can think about it both ways. Yeah. And whatever you think about it, I guess that can be your reality. You could call out literally everything about the game if you drilled down hard enough.
If you really wanted to.
All right, everybody, before we go, we're going to say thank you to Ultra Pro.
Yes, and this week, because we know, it's a real bummer that spring break is over for many people, although for some people it is currently happening.
Yes.
Or is maybe coming up. And so we wanted to tell you what your ultimate Ultra Pro accessory is based on your spring break destination.
Ooh, great. I love it.
So we have some classics here. If you went to a St. Patrick's Day parade, your accessory is anything in lime green.
Great.
Obviously.
Great.
It green, you green, green.
Green. And I love the lime green color. Great. I want that.
It's so good. Maybe you went to the dentist to get your wisdom teeth removed. Your accessory.
Like you do on spring break.
Yeah. Your accessory is hot pink glitter deck box. This happened to me. Cheerful when you are not. Seems like the best deck box to eat pudding out of.
It does.
I looked and I was like, yeah, it's nice. It's hard. It has smooth sides. Put that pudding in there.
Absolutely. Nice ice cream sundae in there. No peanuts, but.
Exactly. Fun fact, truly is how I spent my very first college spring break.
Oh, man. That
but
sucks.
You know what? Now I don't have wisdom teeth and my mouth feels better for it.
I know. More room to stretch out.
So we have even more of those coming. So if you check out our Instagram, GLHF Magic, or our Twitter, you can see all of the other ideal Ultra Pro accessories based on your spring break destination.
I love it. Sign me up. Well, fine, folks. That's this episode of Good Luck High Five.
Ooh, what a time. I feel like, I don't know when we've had a hotter discussion.
Yeah, we had some hot takes.
In a while.
We had a lot of hot takes. It was time. It was building up, We gave them time to change, to make, to correct some things that might be issues. And then we're like, you know what? Now is the time.
The arena economy has been it's been a while coming, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to find out what they do because of the bad backlash of the stream. If they eat crow a little bit and humble themselves slightly.
We can hope.
I hope so.
People can hope.
I don't think that thing's gonna be $50 for long, I'll tell you that.
No. Right? You were like, they'll keep it up for 6 weeks, and I'm like, when no one buys it in the first week, how much longer do you keep it up?
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll certainly find out. And yeah, sometimes you gotta give some tough love out there, because the reason everybody is so upset about this stuff is because they love Magic. They love Arena. They want to play it. And we just want to see it be better. And we know that it can be.
Yes, right? We come at it from a place of, I want to play Alchemy. I enjoy the format. I like how much it changes. It has legitimately made me more interested in playing a constructed format.
Yeah.
That being said, I know why people aren't playing it.
Yeah.
I don't think that right now I could in good faith encourage people to play it, even though that's what I want. I'm like, no, I get it. If you don't already have something slapped together, ready to go, don't spend your cards putting it together, because they're not respecting your work in doing that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, we got on a little bit of a soapbox this episode, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts about stuff, like we said, feel free to tweet at us, head to our Instagram, we're cool kids on the gram, all GLHF Magic, and let us know what you think about all this stuff, you know? We'll be coming back at you next week. By the way, it's going to be another week because on the 31st, Weekly MTG is going to have a stream that's updating everybody on the organized play policy.
Oh my goodness.
So a lot of people being like, not looking forward to that after what happened on this past stream, but I am hopeful for it. You know, they just hired Huey Jensen. I'm like, let's go. 31st, everybody, that's going to be there. So we won't be able to talk about it next Tuesday, but we will the Tuesday after that, of course. But just want to have that on your radar.
Yeah.
For that coming up. And then on the 7th, we start new Capenna previews, and we're off to the races again.
Woo, it's what a couple of months it gonna be.
Seriously. Well, everybody stay safe out there so you don't have to record in isolation like us.
It's a real bummer.
Sometimes it happens. And Megan, take Molly on a walk, you know?